Hello guys, today I'm going to be doing a video on Dying Light 2 using the Steam Deck. We're going to be running it at native resolution of 800p and we're going to be starting it off at the lowest preset. So let's go jump into the settings and then continue. Alright, playing on the lowest preset now. I've actually gone ahead and disabled FSR because I think with the built-in preset it enables FSR and sets it to balanced, I think, or maybe quality. Not sure, but I've actually disabled it. So we are running this at native resolution of 800p. And as you can see, we're getting over 30 FPS quite easily. FPS is obviously uncapped. And yeah, it's doing pretty well. This grassy area is pretty intensive, but we're still holding over 30 FPS pretty easily. Let's go ahead and fight someone, see if that's going to cause us any drops. Alright, if I don't miss. Ooh, that was a pretty decent stutter right there. The game just froze up for a split second. But after that, it seems to be doing quite fine. Alright, jumping up to the low preset instead of very low. This game is quite intensive on pretty much all the presets. But the one positive that comes from that is that the very low and low presets still do look really good. So you're not missing out on much by sticking to very low or the low preset. Now FPS on ground level looks very similar to what we had on very low. Sitting at 35 to 37 FPS. Oh, we just got a stutter right there, that game froze up. But it could be because we're loading into a new area. Jumping up to the rooftops. FPS seems about right, to be honest. 36, and then we fall down into the low 30s. We could fall below 30 at this point, but I think we can just hang on. Now I've got to say that this is my first time using a controller with Dying Light 2, and the button layouts are kind of weird. Our jump button is R1 instead of A, but you can always go ahead and change this in the settings, I would imagine, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, now we're playing at medium settings, and this is where our performance will be going to the point where we're playing in the 20s. Sitting at 24 to 26 FPS. Haven't seen 30 yet, but we are on the rooftop, so maybe it could get better once we land on the ground. Let's go ahead and pick this punching bag. Whoa, that was a pretty big dip. We dropped down to like 20 FPS, I think there. Game froze up. Now I'm using the updated fan curve again in this video, and the one downside with the updated fan curve is that it lets our temperatures get up to the high 80s and 90s as well sometimes. Which I guess it is safe since the CPU can get up to 100 degrees, but I would rather it be in the 70s. So pretty much what you could do is play on the lowest preset or low presets to give yourself some extra headroom on your GPU since it's fully maxed out, it's fully pinned and it's creating a lot of heat. And you want to cap your FPS to 30 or 40. If you can even hit those FPS limits. Since we do have FSR available to us, you want to actually utilize FSR to give yourself a bigger headroom on your GPU, and that will bring your temperatures down into the 70s and 60s with these heavier titles. And this game does have FSR built in, so I'll be using that later in the video, the high preset, and when we do optimized preset as well. Alright, playing at the high preset, which is the max preset for this game. We're also going to do far worse the medium preset, which we're getting like 23 FPS. Now we're sitting at 19 FPS. And looking at the wall, getting 22, which was what we had before. Let's go on the rooftop. Back up to 19 FPS again. The game it's pretty laggy, but you know, I guess you could still play like this. Oh, I couldn't grab on. That's not good. Alright, let's go ahead and try out FSR for a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys how it ran without FSR. Alright, using the Ultra Quality FSR. I just want to play it safe because this game doesn't look the best with FSR, especially if you're playing at 800p. But honestly, on this small screen, the game does look pretty good still. It looks pretty decent. Obviously, in the distance, there's some blurring going on, but that is not that big of a deal. Now, if you're playing on a bigger screen, it's a bit of an issue. It looks pretty ugly, but on this small screen, it looks pretty great still at Ultra Quality. and we're almost getting 30 FPS. Now we're only getting 28 FPS, 27 FPS, but honestly the game's feel is pretty great. It feels like 30 FPS. Without the FPS counter, I wouldn't be able to tell. And another thing about this game is that you can actually mod FSR 2.0 into the game, which looks far better. So if you don't like how this looks, you can actually implement FSR 2.0 on your own. Alright, I want to go ahead and show you guys the low preset, but with FSR on Ultra Quality, just so you can see what FPS you get that way. And we're getting over 49 FPS, pretty much in the 50s at this point, and the game still does look pretty great, even on the low preset. Alright, I went ahead and actually capped the FPS to 40, and dropped the FSR quality down to quality instead of Ultra Quality, and to see if we can hold a stable 40 without stuttering, and also see what kind of power draw we get once we cap our FPS. Originally we were pulling 28 watts, I believe, which leaves us with an hour and a bit of battery life. So if we can drop this down below 20 watts, that would leave us with around 2 hours or more of battery. Now I did try FSR unbalanced, and once you fall below quality in terms of FSR, the game just looks too poor. It's too blurry. The game just doesn't look good, to be honest. And if you want to use balance, then I would drop the resolution down and just use Ultra Quality FSR at that point. And one thing that I forgot to say is that I actually enabled the half rate shading mode, and the text becomes unreadable at that point. So just something to keep in mind. Alright, we're playing on the lowest resolution that the game allows us to, and FSR is set to Ultra Quality. The game doesn't look the best, but honestly, this will allow us to play for longer and hopefully have a cool device as well. I do have half rate shading enabled as well, so I'm going to go ahead and disable that in a second, and we can see if that makes any difference at all to the image quality. And wow, it actually does make a pretty huge difference. So you want to avoid using half rate shading for this game, to be honest. It ruins the text quality and it ruins the actual image quality as well. That's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful. If you did, give it a like, and if you subscribe to the channel, we highly appreciate it. See you next time.